Good morning, everyone. My name is Melanie and welcome back to Slice of Heaven Homestead. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about 4 key elements in seed germination and growth. Now this year, there are going to be a whole lot of new gardeners out there, so I just wanted to go over some of the basics with you. Now the first important element in seed starting is water. Now no seeds will grow without water. You have to maintain a good amount of water when you are first starting the seed germination process. If you do not, those seeds, those little tiny seeds, they will die. Now it's really important to realize that you can overwater plants. If you overwater your seeds and your little seedlings, it will drown them. They are a living thing that needs oxygen in order to grow, and too much water, they will not be able to get that oxygen and they will die. Now the next thing that I wanted to talk to you about is the seed planting depth. When you look on the back of your seed packets, it will say planting depth, and not all seeds need to be planted at the same depth. Now the reason why this is an important element is that if the seeds are planted too shallow, they run the risk of being eaten by pests, bugs, birds, whatever. Also, they run the risk of getting washed away with the rains. Now some seeds do like to be just dropped on the top of the soil and they'll grow just fine like that, and other seeds need to be planted a little bit deeper. Now you want to make sure to pay attention to the planting depth on the back of the seed packets, because each seed for your different vegetables or fruits or whatever are going to have a different depth. If you plant them too deep, the seeds won't have enough energy to sprout underneath the soil and to make it to the surface to start producing their own energy through photosynthesis. They will end up dying and rotting in the ground. Now for those seeds that want to be planted more towards the top of the soil, or even just placed on top of the soil, just remember you're going to have to water those a little bit more often, because they will dry out faster than the seeds that get planted a little bit deeper. Now number 3 is a light source. Plants need sunlight to grow. That's how they produce their own sugars and energy, through photosynthesis. Now sometimes we just don't have access to a whole lot of sunshine. We don't have greenhouses, or it's too early in the spring to plant seeds outside. So one option is you can start your seeds inside with grow lights. They have to be a specific type of light that produces the UV rays that the plants will then harvest and use for photosynthesis to produce their own energies. Now I have started seeds inside at times where I had them close to a sunny windowsill. But they did not get quite enough light that they needed, and so their stalks became really long and spindly. Now when your seedlings are leggy, it means that they don't have enough sunlight. They are reaching as far as they can to try and gather that sunlight. So if your plants are leggy, they just need some more light, whether it be sunlight or a grow light. They just need to be closer to that light source. Now the last important element that I'm going to talk about is soil temperature. Seed germination is triggered by not only moisture, but also by the temperature. If you plant your seeds too early in the season and it's too cold, they won't germinate, and instead they will probably just rot. Now this year I had the opportunity to direct sow some seeds into my grow pots, but I also started some seeds indoors about 3 weeks after I direct sowed those seeds out in the garden. Now I wanted to show you guys the different growth rates. I have had these seedlings out here protected by this makeshift greenhouse for quite a few weeks now, so they've been mostly outside. I did start them inside to get a good germination, and then I moved them out here protected by that greenhouse. Now these zucchini seedlings I planted from seed about 7 weeks ago. Now it was a little bit early. It was before the last frost date. I was planning on going on a trip, and that obviously didn't happen this year. So these are 7 weeks old. They have been outside the whole time, unprotected. But these are 5 weeks old, and they have been sheltered in that greenhouse. Like I said, I started them inside to get a good germination, and then they have been heated in that makeshift little greenhouse. So the soil temperatures have been quite a bit higher in that little greenhouse. This is another one I wanted to show you. This is a vine and green bean that was planted 7 weeks ago. And these are, there's 3 of them in here, vine and green beans that I planted 5 weeks ago that have been in that greenhouse. Now typically green beans like to be planted directly into the ground. They don't necessarily do great being planted inside and then transplanted outside. But I have had such a terrible time with green beans. I tried them last year, and every time one of my little green beans would pop out of the ground, it would be immediately devoured by little bugs. So I decided to try them in my little greenhouse this year, and I'm quite pleased. They are so much bigger than the ones that I planted directly in the ground, and again, it's because of the soil temperature. Now soil temperature not only triggers the germination of a seed, but it also determines whether or not the plant can absorb certain nutrients. Now one of those key nutrients in the soil that your little seedling needs to be able to absorb is phosphorus. Now phosphorus is one of the major nutrients that a plant needs in order to complete photosynthesis and to make their own sugars and energy. It is also responsible for the root growth of your plant. The bigger and healthier the root growth is in a plant, the more nutrients it can absorb, and the faster it will grow and the more it will produce. But cold soil temperatures inhibit the plant from absorbing that phosphorus. If the plant is unable to absorb that phosphorus, then it is going to have kind of a stunted growth. And that is why there is such a huge difference between what I planted 7 weeks ago and what I planted 5 weeks ago. And there you go. Those are the 4 most basic and most important elements in seed germination and growth. You got water, soil depth, sunlight, and soil temperature. Guys, thank you for joining me today. Spread a little kindness and encourage one another. If you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, we hope you find your slice of heaven too.